Here comes Stephen.
Oh, Stephen's coming in?
He's coming on in.
All right. I'm going to get started. Hey, NCTV, are we good to go?
Good to go.
All right. Thanks so much. Okay, everybody. Welcome to the Nantucket Historic District Commission meeting of Thursday, January 21st, 2021. Good afternoon. For the record, I'm Ray Pohl, Chairman of the Nantucket Historic District Commission. First thing I'm going to do is confirm that the members that are present at the time, at the moment, I should say. So members, when I call your names, if you could just please respond the affirmative, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. John McLaughlin.
Aye.
Thank you. Diane Coombs.
Aye.
Thank you. Diane. Abby Camp.
Aye.
Thank you, Abby. And Stephen, do we have you yet?
I hope so.
All right, we do. Wow, fantastic reception. You're here, right?
I am.
Okay, and this is Ray Pohl once again for the record. Staff members, when I call your names, if you could respond in the affirmative. Kathy Flynn.
Present.
Thank you. Holly Backus.
Present.
Very good, thanks. This open meeting of the Nantucket Historic District Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020. That order, posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to convene remotely, so long as public access to deliberations is reasonably provided. This meeting is convening via YouTube, via Zoom, sorry about that, with video and audio recording, and we are being broadcast via YouTube on the town's YouTube channel. With no member of the public having asked to speak at this time, this meeting will not feature public comment. Materials provided to members for the meeting or provided during the meeting are, unless otherwise noted, available on our town's website. During the meeting, I'll introduce the agenda topics and speakers, so please remember to mute your Zoom audio until your name is called, and please direct comments and questions through the chair to avoid crosstalk and to make the taking of minutes easier. Finally, votes taken at today's meeting will be done via roll call. Having said all that, I would love to have a motion from one of my board members to approve today's agenda.
So move.
Thank you, Diane. On that motion, John McLaughlin.
Yes. Aye.
All right, Abby Camp.
Aye.
Great. Stephen Welch.
Aye.
Diane Coombs.
Aye.
Thank you, and I'm in favor. So that motion carries. If any public comment was emailed in, you can let me know about that. Holly or Kathy. And we can now move along to the consent agenda. 4 items. I don't think we need to have anyone recuse. So it's basically everybody who's on right now. Can I have a motion for that?
So move.
Thank you, Diane. So Diane has made a motion to approve the 4 items on the consent agenda. On that motion, John McLaughlin.
Aye.
Thank you, Abby Camp.
Aye.
Thank you, Stephen Welch.
Aye.
Diane.
Aye.
And I'm in favor. That motion carries. So consent is out of the way. Signs. What do we have going with signs?
Motion, sorry, not motion to approve. Approved through the sign advisory council comments.
Approved as per sign advisory.
Yes.
Okay. Can somebody give me that motion?
Sure, I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Abby. On Abby's motion to approve as per sign advisory, Diane.
Aye.
Thank you, John.
Aye.
Thank you, Stephen.
Aye.
Thanks, Abby, on your
Aye.
motion. And I'm in
Aye.
favor. Motion carries. We're cruising. Okay, so we have 13 old business items. Let's see what we can do in the next hour and a half. So first up, oh, by the way, for those of you in the queue, Val Oliver will not be joining us today. So that would mean for our first application, which is Tom Hanlon, it's myself, Diane, John, and Abby. So Tom, if you're there, do we have somebody to represent
Yes, Mr. Chair, Linda Williams.
Yes, I couldn't find my picture on here.
Okay. Sorry, Linda. I thought it was going to be Tom. But so, Linda, are you okay moving forward with a 4-person board on this?
Well, Steve, I believe, is an
Oh,
alternate.
actually, you're absolutely right. So Stephen can sit on this. So that's great.
I
Okay.
don't miss a trick here.
Excuse me,
Oh.
Mr. Chair, through you.
Yes.
Just for the record, Carrie Thornwell has just joined the meeting.
Oh, good to know.
Hi.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm
Welcome,
late.
Carrie.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, so Stephen's on this one.
Seem to be doing a lot of driveways lately.
Driveways and pools. Driveways are the new
yeah.
pools.
Yeah,
Okay.
we got away from arbors, but there is one here.
Okay.
This is fairly straightforward. Right now, they come down Cash's Court into something that's pretty hard to get into. Stay on that site plan, please. They're getting rid of that in the back. The 10-foot gate, natural to weather. There's a gate that's white directly across from it on the other side of Cash's on the Greek Revival there. Leaving the existing hedge, they're converting the backyard to actual lawn with the bluestone patio tucked in there. Just below that, there's an arbor, which is way down the walkway, which is on the south side. Go south. You see the existing patio? Right to the left of the existing patio, you'll see the arbor. It's like dotted in there, right there.
To the left.
Walkway is staying. The existing brick in the front where the 2 doors are on the Orange Street side is staying, and they're putting in a parking with a running bond brick. Pretty much it.
Okay, so let me see this is old business. So what was revised?
The plans were not, I looked at the original and you couldn't really read it.
Oh, that's right.
Made
Yeah,
him
it was
color
very
coded.
vague.
This is,
Yeah, I
this
made him
is a-
color coded.
This is just a clearer version of what we've already seen.
Yeah, I like color coding.
Okay, that's good. All right, folks. Actually, do we have HSAB on this?
Mr. Chair, no, we don't have HSAB. The last time they looked at this was before, was the original application.
Can you remind us
on
if there were any
December
concerns on-
7th.
Were there concerns, Holly?
Their main concern was what was going to go along with the fence. How much was it being removed? Because it was hard to discern that. That there should be a fence plan. There should be a variation in material instead of all brick. So that would be a concern. Although the driveway off of Orange Street is typical of the area.
Yeah.
And I'm not too sure about the width though. Maybe I can't see. Maybe Linda can verify that.
Yeah, it's a 2-car width, like several of them. I believe there are pictures down below.
Yeah, it looks like it's 20 by 20.
Yeah, which is what the other ones are that he's got pictures of, which are all up and down Orange
Yep.
Street, because I went and checked that.
Okay.
It's all running bond. Almost all of these are solid brick. Some of them are herringbone and some are a little more cutesy, but this is just a standard running bond.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think the other question was the fence. I believe down below, Tom has sort of sketched out on one of the pictures, just the width of the parking is going. The one in front of the house is staying. So I believe if you go down to the pictures, you'll see a better iteration of that
Yeah,
from.
let's scan the whole presentation here.
That's the balcony that's existing. That's where he's got it marked out. That's the one where the gate is in the back, which is staying. That's the walkway down to the arbor, which is way up there. That's an example of the arbor.
Okay.
Keep going. Oh, that's it.
on.
So go back up again to where the one where he's got it marked out. Keep going. Keep right there.
Right here?
Yeah, right there. That
Mm.
part of the fence is coming out.
That part, the fence is coming out.
Yeah. So the little back on the left is there and the one in front of the house is staying.
Okay. Got it. All right. Mm-hmm.
Pretty
Okay,
standard.
board members.
Okay.
Was that you, Diane? Go ahead.
I agree with most. I'd like to know why the cherry tree has been okayed by Dale to be removed.
Okay, I'll answer that. It is not a town tree, and Tom planted it 10 years ago. The other tree, which is out on the street side, Diane, is a town tree and nobody's touching it. So the one that's the cherry tree that's there is only 10 years old, and Tom himself planted it when he did the original design.
Thank you for the clarification, Linda. Diane, do you want to continue?
Yeah, I just, if they brick in that double thing, then we have all that existing brick walkway up to the house. Does that make the whole front yard not brick?
I was concerned about that myself, Diane, and the plantings that he's got in there are boxwoods and inkberry and things like that are year-round plantings. So it separates the parking from that. It's a very small area. It looks bigger than you think it is because it's so landscaped in there, but it separates it for a year-round basis. It's no privet.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Was that
Yep.
it? That was it,
Yep.
Diane? Okay, thank you.
Yes, it was.
Let's see, Abby?
So Linda, do you have a photograph of the front of the house? Is it, if we,
I don't know. She can probably pull one up off the GIS.
oh, they're, oops.
These are the other parking courts that he took pictures of. There. Oh, wait, back up
There it is.
right there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that addition, if those of us who've were on back in the day, that right-hand addition was done through the HDC. That was done by Chris Cahell. I don't know if anybody remembers when that was done. Diane, you might remember when they did that one. The house is
Yeah.
to the big house, the big part of it's to the left, and we did this addition to it. So the parking court is right where the green is to the right.
And these are the only two parking lots this house will have?
Oh, it won't have the one in the back anymore. This is the only one it has is right
Right.
here.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, and it's a 2-car. It'll
Yeah,
be a
too wide.
The only suggestion I have, if it's possible, is to do a strip up the middle in a different material to break up the brick.
Okay, like a piece of Belgian block or something up the
Yes.
middle.
Yeah, they
Okay.
do sort of a mix with either cobblestone or that Goshen stone or.
We can do a soldier course of Belgian block right up the middle.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Hang on one second, John. You'll be next. Abby, you want to finish?
Yeah, or something a little more naturalistic with I think Belgian block would still sort of look sort of uniform if you could break it up with something like, not flagstone, but something.
Like Goshen, you just mentioned Goshen.
yeah, right.
Somebody mentioned Goshen.
Okay,
Okay,
those are my thoughts. Thanks.
it'll still be
Okay.
linear, Abby, just so you know.
It's what?
It's still gonna be linear, a straight line up the middle.
Yeah, just, but the shape in that
more organic.
medium would be a sort of a
It'll be
natural.
rougher, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, John, go ahead.
my question was, could you knock it up 3 inches, please?
Yep,
I can't read it.
there you go.
That's fine, thank you.
Any comments, John?
I had a comment, should there be no crisscrossing on the bricks there?
Right.
Oh, yeah, okay, so it's running bond, it's not a herringbone, so you're good on that one.
Thank you.
Okay,
The other
thanks,
thing I
John.
wanted to check, Mr. Chairman, with you guys, the way Tom has it drawn, I believe that's opposite of the sidewalk. That's all right. I wanted to make sure it wasn't going the same direction as the sidewalk. That's fine.
Yeah, and I don't think John's comment was about it being which direction it was just running bond versus herringbone.
Yeah, I just don't want it to be the same direction as the sidewalk's going, so it
That's up to you,
demarcates
that's up
the
to you.
sidewalk.
Correct, okay, so Steve,
Mr. Chair, just on that point, that would be something that HSAB would recommend in making sure that it's perpendicular with
Yeah.
the sidewalk.
okay, we can make it part of the motion.
Yeah.
All right, Stephen.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, thanks. My questions have been answered and any concerns I may have had have been addressed.
Great. Okay, so it sounds like our motion would want to include a a requirement that the running bond on the drive is going perpendicular to the running bond that is on the sidewalk. That would be one thing. And the second thing would be that there would be a median placed between the two parking spaces that would be of Goshen stone.
Mhm.
I believe that covers it, correct?
That's
Yep.
my
So
motion.
move that motion.
Oh, Diana's moved that motion. Okay, so on that motion, Abby,
Aye.
thank you. Stephen,
Aye.
thank you. John,
Aye.
thank you. Diane,
Aye.
and I'm in favor of that motion. Motion carries. Thank you. Linda?
Great. Thanks, guys. I'm still here for Nantucket on
Okay,
Baltimore.
we'll see you a little later then, hopefully. 32 Cliff Road, Board, myself, Diane, Abby, Carrie. Okay. Steve, are you on?
Yes.
Not Stephen Welch, Stephen,
No.
I'm sorry, Stephen Rothke.
Mr. Chair, he's here. He's just muted.
Okay, Stephen Rothke.
Unmuted.
Unmute.
Unmuted and present, Ray.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, question number one, Stephen Rothke, is Val's not with us, so she was your fifth person. Are you okay with this moving forward with a 4-person board?
Yes, I am.
Okay, then let's go.
Great. Just to recap or bring us back up to speed, this was an application for a replacement. We spent most of the initial hearing talking about HSAB's comments and their recommendation or preference to see this repaired and replaced, repaired and maintained to match existing rather than replaced. We've modified with that input in mind and the HDC's input, we've modified the drawings to do just that. The intent here is for the design to stay pretty much the same as it is, and for us to figure out how to restore some of the ornamentation that's on this thing or replicate it. And so that's the application. I believe we're doing exactly what everybody asked us to do.
Okay. Okay, that's a 3D of what you're proposing now, right?
That's correct.
Mhm.
It's basically a 3D of what's there, right? So and the last page has a photograph.
Wait, so Stephen, let me make sure that I'm clear on this. Are you basically rebuilding in like kind?
We are going to retain the pieces of this that we can.
Yeah.
We're going to take off ornamentation and restore it or replace it where we have to. And we're going to put it back together the way that you see it.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. I don't think we have further HSAB because they didn't meet between then and now. So we'll move right over to the board then.
I'm okay with this. Thank you.
Abby's okay with it.
Me too.
Carrie's okay with it. Diane?
Steve, is this Seven Gables?
Yes.
That's right, Diane. Yep.
Okay, I'm fine with it. That's quite a extensive renovation.
It appears to be doing it very thoughtfully. So you're okay with it, Diane?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, great. So I think we have liftoff.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Abby. On that motion, Carrie,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
and I'm in favor of that motion. That motion carries. And John, I believe I just heard you say something. Did you want to comment?
I thought it was on this. I guess I'm not. Okay,
No, you weren't on that one, but you're on the next one, John.
thank you.
Oh, and by the way, you are on the
Sure.
next one, but yours truly is not. So Diane is chairing this one, so I'm going to mute for just a moment. Okay, Diane?
Okay. Yep.
Thank you.
Madam
we have-
Chair, I just wanted to thank Mr. Rothke for bringing that forward as a like kind. I just want to notate that. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome, Holly. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Thanks, Steve. So we got,
Hi, um, Madam Chair, I'm here. I'm Karen Alentz for Patsy Wright. Can you hear me okay?
Yep,
Okay.
I can. I hope
All right,
everybody.
good. All right. So just to recap, Patsy has a small house on Cherry Street with a flooded basement constantly, and she needs to have a battery system powered with solar so that if the power goes down, her basement won't flood all her mechanical stuff. So she has some panels on the house now, but it's not enough to carry the system. So we're proposing to put some more on. And let's see, HSAB reviewed it at first, and then they wanted to have a view. And then the second reviewing, I was in attendance at the meeting, and they said they had no problem with it. The other thing I heard was that this house is not in the core district, but you can verify that for me. Cherry Street is the line of demarcation, and so she is south of that line. I don't know if that means she's in the core district or not, but it seems to be out of it. If that has any bearing, I don't know. If you could scroll back up, last week Val had, or the last time I was heard by the HDC, Val had some photos and asked if they were Patsy Wright's roof. I really couldn't answer. Further up, please. And okay, one more. That's good right there. So one of those roofs, that was the question, is, but the other one that Val thought it might be is not. So you can see on the left where the arrow is pointing, that is not Patsy's house. This is from Bear Street, by the way, not Cherry Street. It's not at all visible from Cherry, but from there through Madison Court, it's a big driveway for these houses. You can see a little bit of her roof in the winter. In the summer, the deciduous trees would block it. And so there was a concern for the commissioners that you would be seeing this roof through Bear Street. So Patsy has offered to put a tree in that could block that view. And that's what we are coming back with. Again, that's the only view you will see. There's nothing on Cherry Street. There's the view again.
On that roof, Ray, may I ask a question?
Of course.
The roof plane, that Patsy roof plane for proposed solar panels right in there, that's one of the roof sides that's going to have panels on it, right?
Right, yes, where that arrow is. They'd be lower than where the arrow is, but there's a possibility you would see one of the edges of the panels coming through there.
Well, and what color is the roof?
The roof is gray. She just re-roofed it.
I don't know. I think that going down Bear Street is something that's hard to see because of the parking lot and the rest of the stuff. Depending on how the other people feel about it, I would, in this respect, go along with it, being that she's going to plant another tree there. Okay, so let's, Abby.
Yeah, what kind of tree is she doing? A fir tree of some sort? Something that won't be deciduous?
Right, it would be evergreen.
Evergreen, that's what I mean. Yeah, I'm okay with this as long as she plants the tree. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and Carrie?
I'm not sure that I'm on this, Diane.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have my agenda right here. John's on it. John.
John and Steve Welch.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I thought Carrie was on as an alternate.
All right.
She is.
I can say my point if you'd like to hear it, but I'm in I'm in agreement with Abby. I think if the tree is there, it will block, and that parking lot on Bear is quite a distance away. The street is quite a distance away.
Yeah, yes. Thanks, Carrie. Johnny?
Yes, thank you. I went down there a couple of times. If you know what you're looking for and you look through that little window that's there, you'll see the back of that house. It's on Cherry Street. But the rule of regulations say that it's at the outside of whatever line it is, up to 200 feet, or the first line you come to when you go off Cherry Street, say going south, and you look at this. Or you might possibly see where this be seen from what's that, Bear Street? Or that Bear Street is a public way. I'm just saying that if you're looking for it, you'll see a little bit of it, but not much. Thank you.
All right, Johnny, thank you. That gives me 1, 2, 3, 4. And Holly, who did you say the last person was?
Steve is on it.
Madam, yes, Carrie is on it. Stephen,
Carrie. Steve?
Abby, John, and yourself. Yep, Steve.
Yeah. All right, can I get a motion?
Stephen has.
Madam Chair, I'd like to comment. I happen to be on it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that they said no.
I think we just established that.
It's all right. My agenda keeps disappearing, so it makes it harder. Tell me
No,
what
I
you
completely understand. I went through that this morning in a meeting. My only comment would be that if the evergreen could be a cedar, that'd be great.
Okay, I think that's a good idea. So if I could get a motion, I would be interested.
Motion to approve.
Steve, you want to make a motion? Okay.
Abby, go ahead if
on,
you're
Abby.
going.
I said, motion to approve with the cedar tree to block the view from Back Street.
Thank you. Thank you. John,
Yes.
thank you. Carrie,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
I'm an aye, so that is a full board. Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you. Thank you.
great. Thanks. Next up, 42 Deeks Road. Do we have, I think William is representing this one. Are you on board, Bill?
Yes, I'm here.
So Bill, question number one, Val is not with us today, and she was a sitting member of your board. Are you okay moving forward with 4 board members, those members being myself, Diane, Abby, and Carrie?
Yes, I am.
Okay, then let's go.
Okay, at the last meeting, we had been calling the structure at the pool a pavilion for no other reason than it doesn't have any walls on it rather than cabana.
Mhm.
So the last meeting, the concern from the board was that it was the roof was a little bit too high and it looked like a continuation of the existing shed. So it was suggested that perhaps it was a pergola. So what we've done now is presented a pergola, which is now centered on the pool as well. The pavilion was off about 1.5 feet. So the pergola is now, well, as you can see, it's centered on the pool, and it's much lower. And I don't believe that once the Leland cypress and the Rose of Sharon grow, that you will not even see that there's a pergola there. So that's basically it.
Okay. Bill, can you remind me what is the color, if any, on the pergola?
Good question. I think it's white. I believe the pavilion was white, but we could go natural, just whatever the board would like.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I would go. We just were concerned about one sticking out white in the middle of somebody's lawn. Yeah, the other day. So I would say natural to weather if this were to go through.
okay. Do you have any other comments on the revisions?
Just that the Leyland cypress cut, you say it screens the pool from the road.
Yes, it does.
Okay,
Or
I'm
it will.
okay with it then, if it were natural to weather.
Okay, thank you, Abby. Diane?
I have no problem with it because it says that the shower is natural to weather, so it'll fit in just along and not be noticeable. I finally figured out all the ins and outs of this place.
Yeah.
So that's what.
Okay, thank you. Carrie?
I agree. If it's natural to weather, it will blend in and won't be.
Yeah. So I think we're there at long last. So I guess if somebody could make a motion to approve this as natural to weather, that would be grand.
I'll make that motion.
All right, Diane, thanks for the motion. On the motion, Abby?
Aye.
Carrie?
Aye.
Diane?
Aye.
Ray? Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thanks. Thanks a
All right,
lot.
thank you, guys.
For working with our board. Okay, next up we have Nathan.
Here.
6 Elbow Lane. Let's see. Nathan, if you haven't heard already, Val is not with us today. Now, in
Yes.
your case, we do have an alternate who's been sitting on this, who is Stephen Welch. So you can still have a 5-member board just without Val. So we're ready to go if you are.
Okay. From the last meeting, you had asked us to delineate the site plan a little better, which we've done. And we changed the 2 8 feet by 16 feet parallel parking spaces to 1 9 feet by 20 feet space. Yes. And we took field measurements at the site to locate the existing stores and parking area to the north. And it shows, as we measured, Elbow Lane is about 10 feet wide at that point. And so the stores are about 18 feet from the property line to their south elevation. And now we're showing this curb cuts that you asked for. And we revised the privet. And just to remind you from our last meeting, the site plan by Hart and Associates for the approval of the second dwelling from 1998 showed a 13 feet curb cut, and it was to the west. If you have that in your file, it doesn't matter. The point is it was 13 feet and now we're suggesting it be 20.
It was never built.
Yeah, that was never built.
Right.
We've also advised the owner to resubmit to the planning board for reapproval for the revised curb cut locations per your suggestions. And finally, the fence to the east and outdoor shower are for the next submission next week. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Nathan. Do we have Sconset advisory on this one, perchance?
No, Mr. Chair, they did not see the revisions, but as you may remember, they were concerned with the amount of additional parking on the property on the road itself. And I had concerns from the planning board perspective. So I thank you for recommending your client to move forward requesting to the planning board. I would just also on that note, if that parking space that was originally associated with the garage apartment was associated with their approval for the secondary dwelling, it might be a request for them. But I don't want to speak for the Sconset Advisory Board on that, but this looks a lot better. So thank you, Mr.
Okay, thank you, Holly. Okay, board members.
Could I go, Mr. Chair?
Of course you can, Abby.
Okay. It looks to me like this is sort of a swoop in for a sort of a medium small car, swoop in, swoop out.
Yes.
The sort of the problem I have with these swoop in, swoop outs is that if it's shell, the shells scatter all over the place and it makes a mess. And I was wondering how we could do this and contain it so that it still had that Sconset look, but wasn't broken up shell. So I was thinking maybe cobblestone, because I think cobblestone is somewhere around there. There's brick around there, and certainly they could do some combinations with Belgian. I'd be fine with any of those.
So just a substitution of material.
Yes. Otherwise, the new I think I'm fine with the new design.
Okay. Nathan, I'm sure you're going to comment on that, but why don't we hear from the other members before we talk to you about materials? Let's see. So that was Abby. Diane, where are you on this?
Well, I'm not very happy about it, but parking is necessary. Is there any way that the edges of the pull off could be rounded a little bit instead of quite so angular, which would make it fit in, take that corner off?
Yeah, that would be preferred. It would also make it a lot easier to get a car in and out of there, honestly.
Right, because otherwise they're gonna come across that corner and they're gonna run over whatever that is. So I'd just like to see those edges taken off.
Okay. Thank you, Diane. Let's see, who else do we have? John.
Yes, thank you. I have a question to the is the architect here?
Is who?
The architect.
Yes, Nathan is representing this.
Nathan is here, John.
Nathan, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Can you see that red line?
Yeah. Yes.
The bubble.
Okay. Well, I can't read it. What does it say on that line?
So that's go ahead, Nathan. Sorry.
It just says 20 feet, 0 inches, new parking.
Okay, but there's nothing going to be changed in that area right there except for the private property. Am I correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're going to use shells?
Or whatever the HDC finds.
Well, what I'm asking is if you're going to have a curb cut there, is it going to be shelled out to that line or out to the town property?
Yes, or whatever the HDC decides.
Okay, thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
may I add a comment?
Sure.
From a staff's perspective, the zoning bylaw requires when you have a road that is paved, the driveway itself needs to have an apron. So this being a parallel parking space, it would have to be a hard surface of some sort.
And
Not shall.
clearly Abby's made it clear that that's the way she's going to want to vote on this anyway. So thanks. The confirmation of that. Stephen, you're up.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. So I'm a no on this as it is. And I think that my comment is that if this were turned perpendicular, it would be more appropriate. This is, clearly an historic street and an historic district, and it's a tiny little street to be adding the parking. If it were, 10 or 11, 10 feet wide, it's wider than it's wider than is required for a parking space. And it gives someone space to get in, and the depth could be into the lot as opposed to along the street. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Oh, and I agree with the comment about the materials and also the apron too, by the way.
Could I ask Stephen a question through you, Mr. Chair?
I'm sorry, you wanted to ask a question?
Yeah, through you.
Yeah, go ahead.
To Stephen, when he says perpendicular, does he mean alongside the garage and into the lot that way? Alongside?
Yeah,
What?
I mean, they could rotate it along its axis and put it anywhere within the 20 feet that's shown. There could be a 10-foot opening.
Yeah,
As
that,
opposed
sorry,
to having,
Steve, that was my original thought, was to put and then she's got the whole lawn there. But
very
it's
good
not.
company.
That's, yeah. Okay, but that's not before. So anyway, thank you.
All right, so Nathan, you have, look, it sounds like three things that I would love to hear your opinions on. One is the surfacing, okay? Two is Diane's point about rounding those corners. And three would be the sort of, rather radical departure from what you're proposing of having the parking space go in perpendicular rather than parallel to Elbow Lane. So want to just tell us about those things?
Okay, resurfacing, as I said, is up to the HDC. If you prefer it to be asphalt, that's fine.
Well, I'm not sure asphalt
or Belgian block or
right.
brick, whatever you prefer.
Okay.
To round the corner, that's fine. It's going to be naturally rounded sooner or later. But yes, we'll move the privet in the corner back to get it more rounded. And as far as the 10-foot opening, there is a 14-foot opening already approved by the planning board, I guess. It was from 1998, as I said, and she would prefer not to cut off her main dwelling from the second dwelling with a parking. And so this is what's started this.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So you're slightly wider than the 14 that was approved.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Chair, could I make a comment that might help clarify this?
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay, so one of the things about this little lane is that there's so much going on. There are mail trucks. There is the Sconset Market. There is the entrance to the back of the little Sconset Cafe. So there's a lot going on at certain times of the day. I think trying to back out of a perpendicular spot it would be just asking for trouble.
Totally agree.
So it's a tight situation. I don't like it either, but the lady needs parking. So
Abby, I'm sorry, Abby, that's what she was thinking. Yes.
Yeah. So
I'll comment, please.
All right.
Let's make sure that various people have finished. I'll get right to you. So have you finished, Abby?
Yeah.
Okay. Stephen.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. The key to that is you back in, you don't back out.
Well, but either way, you're back.
But you're pulling in anyways.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna, we're not the parking police.
Just zip into this thing and zip right back out. No backing, no backing out.
Yeah, and then the other question I have for the applicant's agent is, where does she park now?
She just bought the house a few months ago.
Okay, so where did the people who owned it before park?
Not sure.
I mean, they have a garage, right?
Yes, I believe they probably
Okay, I rest my case. Thank you.
Okay.
They probably parked across the street.
Yeah, and you're backing into and out of the garage space. Okay, so now one thing that we really didn't quite get resolution on is if we are changing the surfacing, what would it be to? I
Yes.
heard brick. I heard Belgian block. For people that know the context here better than I do, I would love to have some sort of a recommendation.
I would recommend a rounded aprons as suggested by the other board members.
Yes.
Rounding those corners out. I would sit, because it's so shallow, I wouldn't change materials too much. Like maybe you have an apron that's Belgian block and it's filled in with running bond brick. There is, you know how there's that little park across the street?
Yeah.
Yes.
That has a lot of brick in it already.
Yes.
So there's a precedent there. So
Okay.
that would be my thought.
So it sounds like the idea would be brick with sort of like a Belgian block row course demising the asphalt from the brick.
Yes.
Mr.
Diane,
Chair.
were you about to say something?
I was just going to say I wouldn't worry about the apron because I don't think it's possible. But if you did the brick, would be in running bond, and I think that Elbow Lane is just paved, so I'm not sure. I would go with brick, I guess.
Okay. So it sounds like Diane doesn't necessarily need to have that Belgian block course running between the paved and the brick.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, John.
I have a question.
Yes.
Before a motion is made.
Go ahead.
What does the application call for? Belgian block or brick or what?
Well, so John, the application actually called for shell, but as Holly pointed out, shell doesn't, for the planning board, that doesn't work because that's not an apron material. So what we're talking about now, John, is the entire parking space would be made out of running bond brick. That's what the motion is going to reflect.
Yeah, we're framed by bricks as well, I guess.
Yeah. If I had a choice, I'd say use Belgian block. Thank you.
Okay, so the argument has been made, John, that there's a lot of brick precedent in that area, like the little park across the street from all this. So can somebody give me a motion?
Make a motion to pave on Elbow Lane, the pull-off parking, having the corners rounded.
Yes.
And the interior of the parking space in running bond brick.
Okay.
Can I add that it would be that the running bond would be framed in a soldier course to keep it tight?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Nathan, you don't have any objection to that, do you?
I do not. I think this is a good idea.
Okay, I think it actually, you would kind of want to do that anyway, just to hold the brick together.
It won't
Okay, so
spill. It won't spill into the road. Yes.
Little soldier course of brick running around to hold everything together. So that's Diane's motion. Let's see, on that motion, John.
Well, repeat the motion, please.
The motion is to approve it with running bond brick and little roundouts at either end.
Aye.
Thank you. Abby.
Aye.
Thank you. Stephen.
I have two questions. What is the brick? Is it stipulated to be an antique? And two, what is the length of the roundouts? Are they going to be in addition to the 20 feet, or are we?
I think it's a question of removing, like if we're looking at this diagram right now, if you remove those two little corner, the privet or whatever that is, that's right at the corner, just get rid of those because they will be gotten rid of by the.
Yes,
they'll be run over.
It's graphic. Yes.
And to the brick.
Mr. Chairman, just having dealt with this parking area with her, you're going to need to flare it. She will not be able to get into it because of how narrow it is. You're going to need to actually flare where those little corners are.
That is a flare.
Not enough.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
Listen,
that's
we
what
got
I was
too
trying to
many
get at
people-
is,
we've got too
I
many
think
people
for,
in on this.
for
Steve,
this to
We
work
have
is,
a we have a
excuse
motion on
me,
the
Diane,
table.
I have the floor. I'm really getting tired of this. Thank you. I had a question on the motion, trying to understand it.
but, so.
I can see
one
that to
thing?
move things along, that the questions aren't going to be answered in a way that's satisfactory. I'll say no. Thank you.
Okay, but I just want to be clear on one, thank you for that, Stephen. And as for the brick, it can't really be salvage brick because that would last about a year. It needs to be
No.
like water struck, exterior grade paving
Right.
brick.
Yeah. Don't, just to clarify the point, Mr. Chair, that
Yeah.
Boston makes a Boston City paver and they make a variety of brand new bricks that don't look old. I'm not suggesting reclaimed brick or anything like that.
Oh, okay. Well, Stephen is not in favor of the motion. I am, so I believe the motion carries 4 in favor, 1 opposed. Okay, thank you, Nathan.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next up, we're moving to 6 Baltimore, and Val did request for this to be heard. Who is representing this for Val?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the owner.
Oh, okay, very good.
Just up front, Mr. Chairman, the Nantucket has asked, I've already talked to the owner, Paul Pizzarella. The
Yeah.
Nantucket advisory has not seen this again because it's not the applicant's fault or Kathy's.
Okay.
We were off because of the holiday. The Nantucket asked in their last recommendations to have it sent back to us when they put a new design in. So we have not seen this particular iteration again yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Linda.
Some of the same concerns are there, but they're becoming less of an impact on some parts of it.
Okay, very good. Now, in this case, we actually do have a full board, myself, Diane, John, Abby, and Stephen. So, do we have our on board there to speak on this? Let's see. Oh, there you are. Hey, you're muted right now. You need to unmute yourself so we can hear you. Yeah, you should be good now. No, you're still muted. Still muted.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Is that good?
That's better. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, can you just give us your name for the record?
This is Paul Pizzarella.
Thank you very much. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kathy, could I get the cursors and then can you flip the control to me so I can run people through it?
You do what?
I think he wants to use his
so I can bring people through the pictures.
You want to go to the pictures? I'm sorry, you're sounding muffled. I can barely hear you.
Can I get control of the cursor so I can run people through it?
Yep, sure.
Thank you.
I'm not quite sure how to do that. Hang on.
Mr. Chairman.
Kathy?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yep.
If I may just guide you through that. So if you go to the top where it says view options, you can actually, he can request. So if the owner can go to the view options, request remote control, and then you as the host can give him control because you are showing the plans, but he's going to use the.
Yeah, I don't have the view options on my screen right here.
My view
I'm
options
on my
are
laptop.
standard side by side.
I'm on my laptop. I don't.
You can do that, Paul.
Yes, what do I
For you,
select?
Mr. Chair. If you go to view options, click request remote control.
I had a question.
And it just pops up for Kathy. Does it pop up for you?
No.
He may have a different view. At the bottom of your screen, it'll say share screen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll select that and then select the particular drawings. Once they come up, Mr. Chair, I have a question relative to the previous motion on this application and the drawings.
Yeah, okay. Now, John, in the meantime, I know that you've wanted to say something. What would you like to say?
Kathy says I can't share what others participating.
Hang on. John?
Was there a motion made
Was there a motion made on what, John?
On this application?
Oh, the one we're looking at? No, we're just starting discussion right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, I'll get an opinion from you, John. Okay, so back to this.
I apologize, but I don't see anything here. I have a laptop. Mine doesn't
Through you,
show
Mr.
that.
Chair, Kathy, so the owner he needs to go up, Paul needs to go up to the view options. It should show up the top.
Can I just
You
say
see a little
something?
spot.
Can I say something? Most of our applications are not controlled by the applicant, they're controlled by Holly. And so, Paul, if you don't mind, it would simplify things just if you said, well, let's go to the site plan, let's go to the elevations, and then Holly will control the whole thing for you.
I think given that, that's fine, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
All right, well, just to move it along.
I'll just use mine here that I have, and I'll just annotate.
Okay.
I guess if we just start at the top, then Kathy, if you're the one that's controlling it.
Point of order.
Yes, Stephen.
The motion on this application was to hold for additional information, and the additional information was stipulated. It's not included in the application. And I would ask that we have it held until the application is submitted complete.
I got you. So actually, this sort of does dovetail into Linda's comment earlier that this has not yet gone before Nantucket Advisory, which I really believe that it should.
So the original one, Mr. Chairman, we did see the original, but we wanted to have the whatever happened come back to us.
I understand. So the concern, not concern, but the observations are twofold. One, that the additional information that Stephen has highlighted was one of the conditions of our moving to hold this application have not been met. And two is it hasn't gone as it should customarily do to Nantucket Advisory for a pre-review. So given all that, I'm wondering whether we should have a motion to have both of those things fulfilled. The additional information. Yes?
So moved.
Okay. So just to be clear on that, we're looking for two things. One, that this goes back to Nantucket Advisory before it comes to us. And two, that the additional information that was requested at the last hearing of this be provided to this board.
Correct, Mr. Chair, however, in reverse order. So Nantucket gets the benefit of.
Figured that out.
Okay. But in reverse order. So on that motion, that was your motion, right, Stephen?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. On the motion, Abby.
Aye.
John.
On the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Question. Also to add in here that you hold it for a viewing also, the area.
Oh, okay. That's perfectly acceptable. Stephen, you're okay with that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So added to the motion was a viewing of this. So and John, you're in favor of that?
With a viewing, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Diane?
I'm good with that.
Okay, very good. And Stephen?
Aye.
All right, and I'm in favor too. So motion carries. We'll see you next time. Okay, moving along now. 119 Eel Point Road, and I'm not on this. So Diane, you are chairing this one.
Right.
Yep. Thank you. I'm going to mute for a little
Thank you.
while.
Why? How come you're not on it, Ray? I thought you were on this.
Okay, let me make sure here.
Let me see.
119R Eel Point Road. It says Commissioners Coombe, McLaughlin, Camp, Oliver, Welch.
And
Ray, you did speak on this.
Yeah,
If you look
so
at the minutes.
is this our Gambrell?
Yeah.
Mr. Chair and everybody concerned, this is the minutes that were submitted with the submission, and that's how we write it on the agenda.
My only comment, just to be clear, is the chairman spoke on the matter.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm right there.
Just to clarify.
Oh, here it is right there. Yep.
Yeah, I'm
I see
right
that.
there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't
Okay, so now
remember.
we have a little bit of a problem because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I was not on this.
You were not on this, Stephen. Okay, and
Correct.
Val is no longer on this because she's not here at the moment.
What,
I mean, I
what
wasn't
were,
active on it.
what were the minutes? Do you have handy the minutes before this?
Yes.
That one?
Oh, the ones before? No, I'm not at, I don't have this is from the January 4th meeting,
Is
Terry.
that new business?
I don't
can't
know
read
what
that.
meeting it got heard at.
No, that was old business.
This
so.
is the house, so this has been reviewed at least twice.
Yeah, this is the third time that it was up, and everybody that is quoted on there is who I recall sitting on the meeting, and that sounds correct to me. And when I read the minutes,
Okay,
This could have been a typo.
all right. So to be clear, the people sitting on this, counter to what our agenda says, are myself, Diane, Abby, John, Val, who is not here. Yeah, so you're to a 4-person board. Joe, is that okay?
yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, I felt like we were close.
Okay, so then we'll proceed. Does everybody understand? I'm going to say it one more time. I'm sitting on this, Diane is sitting on this, John, you're sitting on this, and Abby is on this, okay? Everybody good?
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's move forward. Joe, go.
Yeah, the comments were centered around the front entryway, the door, the side lights, the pitch of the porch roof. Yeah, if you go back a page, that just to give you an overview, it was really all around the front elevation. I think the the underlying comment was about the cupola felt squished into the roof. The front entryway felt a little squashed, and that I ought to look at increasing the pitch of some of these things. And we did do that. Actually adjusted the porch pitch a little bit, adjusted the front entryway, made it narrower. I mean, changed the front door used to have windows flanking it. We made them more proper side lights, and we actually diminished the width of the shed dormer above the front door. And then the elevation where your cursor is, that little secondary mass that has the vertical boards in it, I changed the proportions of those boards and the proportion of that roof pitch. And if you scroll down, you can see all this in quarter scale.
It's a little tiny right now.
Yeah, this is a series that's a history. So yeah, this kind of gives you a sense of it right here. Again, the front entryway, we have real side lights with panels now. Made those ganged windows in the shed dormer above the front door. And on the next elevation, the east, I still have the board shown on here, but they were a much tighter spacing, like a 3-inch spacing. It's a 5-inch spacing now. I increased the pitch on that per John's comment. And I made it more of a proper cupola. It sits above the ridge. It reduced in size from 14 square to 11 square. Just for reference, the one down the street on Eel Point, I think that Ray mentioned, I looked up the drawings for that. That thing is 14-foot square, actually.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Smaller house.
Yeah, it's and that thing really is overwhelming on it. And that's it. The page before this, which is a series of small drawings, I don't want to spend too much time on, but you can see what you reviewed reading left down. The first meeting, the second meeting, the current application is listed at HDC 3. And then the other things, because they were discussed, I changed the size of the entryway a little bit. I changed some details on the cupola on C and D. E is with a roof walk, and and the final one, which should be labeled F, is nothing at all. HTC 3 is what we just walked through.
Right.
That just gives you a little bit of history and some options if it was appropriate to discuss options.
Well, we may get to that. Hey, so Joe, I do have a kind of funny question. That pediment over the front door almost looks like an optical illusion to me. I'm trying to figure out where the shingles are. If we go to the larger scale version of that, like, so here we have this eave running across, and then we have these two columns that the capitals are higher up than all the rest of the capitals.
Yes.
And then there's a roof that's sort of perched above the eave of the rest of the stuff. Like, this is a porch roof, is it not? I mean, the front door is not projecting out. Like, you have a roof over the front door, right?
Yeah, I think if you go down to the floor plans, you'll see it. That whole thing comes forward of the porch. And there you go.
Okay. All right.
That whole thing comes forward.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Board members, love to hear your opinions.
I'll take a shot.
Thank you, Abby. Go ahead.
Staying on that pediment over the front door, something also bothers me about that it's not connected to the roof somehow straight on. I realize now that it comes out, but I'm wondering if the fascia strip couldn't be broadened or brought down to somehow connect with that, the fascia board that's holding up the porch roof, somehow that those two relate better to one another. I also think, what?
I was just saying, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, it looks a little, there's a disconnect there.
Yes.
I really like the roof walk, if it was a little bit
I knew you were going to say.
longer. What? Oh, come on.
No, I just,
everything.
I'm not saying that I disagree with you. I'm just saying that I knew you were going to say that.
It's just that I was looking at the two side by side as you look at those small ones, and it's really actually neat to look at the evolution of this house. But I think the roof walk, it gives, I don't know the words to say it. I just like it better. This looks like an add-on. It looks more like I don't know, maybe it's a hotel in Newport or something, but I think the roof walk gives it a more residential, a sweeter tone. I think it's, that's the way I would go.
Okay. Thank you, Abby. Diane, how about you?
I would like to see not so many windows at the front door. I think it's overpowering and somehow confusing. I would like to see not 5 mulled windows over the front door. And
okay.
I think it is an impressive, I guess is the word, to say as the front door, and at it's just too much. I'd like to see it so you could not see quite so many windows and more of the facade of the house. So that's it, and bring the front door back down to make it simpler. It doesn't look particularly like any front door that I am used to seeing. I would go up maybe 2 more window panels to bring those side windows up, or bring them down to just 1 row and fill in the main door. That's my own particular feeling about the entryway. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Diane. John.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have comments, yes. Number 1, the cupola should take a height. That's too much for this structure, too much light. I agree with Diane on the front door. The front door should be a standard 6-panel door, or get rid of the side lights and just keep the centerpiece that's there, but make sure that it's got more panels in it than the front door. As far as the gable over the top of it, I appreciate that going to that 7-inch pitch. The that gable with the dormer over it. All right, the dormer, if you're gonna have that dormer, it should be 2 outside lights and the middle one, and eliminate the other 2, because that's gonna be awful heavy in that area. And I'd like to see the possibility of running that fascia board and everything right straight through and get rid of the archway that's there. I'd like to see the rear of the house, please.
There you are, John.
Okay, now I'm looking at the length of the deck that I see there.
Oh,
Yeah. The general pitches is there's too much glass on the first floor there. There should be 2 of those glass doors, not 4. And it's too much, too impressionable for this style of house. Thank you.
Okay, John, thanks. Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Your little alternative things, you know, I appreciate you're doing them. I'm not sure that your client would love this, but like Abby, I think that the roof walk is, in terms of appropriateness, head and shoulders above the cupola. I don't hear you getting a lot of support for the cupola. I appreciate the fact that you pulled it up and rendered it more traditionally, but that's where I am. So that's it for me. I think we're going to need a couple small revisions on this.
Can I respond just to a couple of
things?
Yeah,
of course you can. Sure, Joe. Go ahead.
Thanks. Well, I think the reason why I included the roof walk was so that you'd have an option to weigh in on. So I didn't want to just present cupolas. I think an element up there is important. If my clients could only have the roof walk, I think we would take it. And I think the comments about dropping the eaves down on the front porch so that they line up with the main porch eaves make a lot of sense. Regarding the front door and the fenestration, and just as a reminder, this is 300 feet from the road, and it's screened by vegetation. I don't think you're going to see a lot of this from the front. And the rear of it, we established long ago that you can't see it from the beach. We've got a huge bluff. This is set far back, and if you recall, there's an existing house there that has an extensive deck across the back with picture windows and everything, and we've actually calmed it down quite a bit from the original structure that's there. And I don't want to dismiss John's comments, but I don't think that what we're presenting is, I think it's going to be better certainly than what's there, and it's not going to be visible or jarring in any way. And I think that I know we're talking details about a front door, so it feels a little funny to get hung up on the size of a panel or side lights when we're talking about a house of this scale, but I guess I understand. The dormer, I just thought it might be worth, the dormer with the ganged windows, if you go back, can you mind just going back one page that has these comparisons? I'm sorry, one more page. Yeah. The previous dormer had 3 ganged windows above the front door and 2 flanking it. Right. And I actually thought I was addressing somebody's concerns about how they ought to be either ganged or altogether, that the combination of ganged and separate felt a little odd. And I thought it was an opportunity to reveal more of the roof plane of the main gable. So that's why I pushed it together and kept those 5 windows. I thought revealing the center section of the main gambrel roof might be kind of nice. So the dormer shrunk by a couple feet. But just by way of explanation, I'm not necessarily trying to defend it. I just wanted to understand how it evolved to that point.
All right.
So,
Well, thanks for re-reviewing that stuff. I think we should just motion that for some revisions on this one.
So,
I'll make that motion.
All right. Abby, were you going to say something?
no, I was going to make the motion,
Oh,
but
okay.
either
All right.
one.
All right. So on Diane's motion, Abby,
I,
John,
Aye.
thank you, Diane,
Aye.
and I'm in favor, so that motion carries. We'll see you next time.
okay.
Thanks, Joe.
I'm up the next one too.
Oh, you are, that's right. So new guest house at 19 Pondview, board on this, myself, Diane, Abby, Stephen. Let's see. It's
And
1:15. Okay, we're good. Okay.
yeah, you just approved the main house on this, and you recall that everything got pushed back 30 feet, and we have that landscape buffer that was required. So we actually, even though we're moving this all back, we did eliminate the I'm just waiting for someone to land on the elevations.
They're coming up next, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
There they are.
yeah.
Sorry
All
about that.
that's okay. The comparison elevations, but it used to have a cupola on it. And I think if you look at the east elevation, which faces into the lot, is much greater simplified on the upper level. And we dropped the roof down a little bit. We're at 24'3", and the big change was the removal of the cupola. If you scoop back up, I think 2 drawings, you'll see the before and after on there. So the elevation on the left, we had panels that were in the center on that dormer and double doors, which felt a little bit jammed in there. So now we just have 3 doors going out onto that deck. There was comments on the west elevation about the large window and the porch, but they face into the neighbor's yard, and it's heavily screened by trees. So I did not make a change there.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
All right.
I'll go if you like.
All right, Diane, that would be great. Thank you. Go ahead.
Joe, I appreciate the changes. I think that is good. I know this particular lot very well for some 20 odd years, and I think it would be very difficult to see. And what you have presented on the new proposal fits in with the surrounding houses and vegetation and the walk to the beach. Thank you.
Okay, Diane, thanks so much. Let's see, Abby.
yeah, I agree. I think the revisions are, I like that silhouette of the north elevation. That looks really nice and old fashioned. I just want to throw in a comment that a number of buildings on this lot, whether you can see them or not, is a little bit disturbing. I mean, it's very disturbing. I just don't understand what's going on, but that's not before us. It's just this piece of architecture, and I'm fine with the renovations of this particular piece. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Abby. Stephen.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. So Joe, I too appreciate the changes, and I don't disagree with Abby, but I do appreciate the fact on the number of buildings, but I do appreciate the fact that by breaking them down and spreading them out as opposed to having one large massive structure for the allowable ground cover, I think is preferred. Thanks.
Okay, I'm fine with it. I think we can motion.
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
All right, sounds good, Diane. Thank you. On the motion, Stephen.
Aye.
Thank you. Abby.
Aye.
Diane.
Aye.
Very good. And I'm in favor of that motion carries.
Thank you.
And you have one more, Joseph. Don't go away.
I do. Maybe it'll be 2 for 3. We'll see.
Stick around, stick around.
There are aspects of this format that are actually nice, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah,
Like
no,
what?
I know. I'm having,
It's terrible. What are you talking about?
There are aspects that are terrible and there are aspects that are good.
I think it's
there's a lot
great.
more terrible ones than good ones, let me tell you that. Okay, so Joe, again, Val is not here, obviously. So you have 2 alternates. You have Stephen and Carrie. Stephen was on your last one. I'm just going to say, let's go with Carrie this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I think she's probably poor Carrie is probably getting bored over there. Carrie, are you awake?
Yeah, I'm awake.
She's there. Okay, good.
I got toothpicks holding up my eyelids.
Fantastic. Well, so why don't you sit in on this? There's
Okay.
myself, Diane, John, Abby, and you, Carrie Thornwell. Okay.
Yeah.
8 Acromuck Pool Landscape. Let's go.
Yeah, this is the perfect spot to sit. So in terms of PDF. So this is what we had before. Basically, we're looking at the pool. The house has been approved. And I think we've established that the house is at the end of this lane and isn't visible. So the pool's hidden by the house, but there was a comment about the pool and the hardscape getting close to the neighbor, which is on the top part of this page. And there was a discussion about showing some landscape and some screening. And I suggested that we might rotate the pool 90 degrees and also rotate the future cabana. So the next page, as comparison, we're showing some of the existing vegetation that's going to remain. The pool did rotate 90 degrees, which diminished the amount of hardscape. And the cabana is on the top part of the page as a buffer to the neighbor, which also gives us more lawn area and so forth. So,
Hey, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Remind me, did we already approve the design of the cabana?
You have not.
Have not. So this is a conceptual thing.
Conceptual, yes,
Well,
it is.
conceptual in that, like the footprint that we're looking at is you're just saying, well, I'm moving the cabana, the future cabana over here as opposed to the other side where the fire pit is now. But that remains to be approved.
Correct. And there's a setback line that you can see that runs across there. So there's they want to have a cabana. So the cabana being in this location actually gives us great access into the kitchen and the back part of the house too.
Okay.
So I don't see the cabana going anywhere else. And it will be a single story hip roof structure. It's just
All
to
right.
serve the pool. It's not a tall structure.
All right, very good. So let's see what the board has to say about your new revised pool location.
Can we see the locus?
Yeah, of course we can.
Thanks.
We can blow up that. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and Carrie, the locus that's the lot is covered in with the green polyline there. That in the upper left-hand corner is the existing guest cottage that's to remain, and just south of that cursor is where our house is approved. So the pool is going right there. And so the comments were that it might, how close is it to the 21R, who also happens to be a client, but there's a lot of trees that are screening that, but it's not visible from a public way.
Right.
Carrie, does that satisfy your locus question?
Yes, it does. We can go back to the site plan. Thanks.
Okay. And John, did you have something you were going to say? Let me see. Actually, John, oh, you are on this. Yep. You're on this.
Yes, could I see the front of the house, please?
The front of the house.
Yeah, I'm sorry, what am I looking at on this?
This is an application for the pool, John. The house is already approved. So what
Okay.
Joe has done is he's rotated the pool so that the axis is different, so that it gets a little further away from the neighbor.
I was looking at the, just to the right of that pool, and above it, I thought I was looking at that as a pool, but I see where it is. It's got to be knocked up 3 inch, three.
We can do that. So Holly, you want to blow it up a little bit more?
Can it go up 3 notches? I just can't read it.
How's that?
That's beautiful. Let me see.
All right.
Okay. Okay, I have no comments. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, John. Let's see. Carrie, did you want to continue or should
I
I?
kind of do, because the pool just looks really big to me.
Okay.
And I mean, what size is it? It looks like it's like 20 by 40 or even bigger.
It's 18 by 36.
18 by 36.
Including the sun shelf?
Oh, does that say 18 by 40? Yes,
Yes.
including the sun shelf.
Okay. All right. Continue, Carrie.
Well, the property is big. It just seems like everything's crammed into that corner, and I'm not sure really why. But
There's a 50-foot wetland setback to the south, and you can see that it slopes down to like this little, it's actually a man-made pond at the bottom of the page.
yeah,
And then there's that existing cottage that's there on the upper right that we want to keep. And we're taking the existing grade when we got the house approved, the grade's dropping 3 feet from, there's a man-made hill where the house is right now. So all of that is coming down so that we have more of a lawn area, but it's topography and wetland driven in terms of its position.
right. Well, I don't think it will be visible from anywhere. I would prefer it if it was just a little bit scaled back, but I think because you are not visible, you're okay.
Okay. Thanks, Carrie. Let's see what the rest of the board has to say. So Diane, you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh, is this Andy Lowell's old house area?
Yeah, it's right. Andy owns the property that abuts this. Correct.
Right, but this is going down to the pond. It was where he used to keep his hens.
Yes, correct. There's a chicken coop that's here
don't-
that's going to end up housing my chickens.
It is a good idea. I don't think that you will see this. My concern was to begin with that it was built on the highest spot, but I know now why it was and why it drops off the way it does. So I think, again, I would say what I've been saying recently is just to make the shape of the pool a little more natural, so you can round off the corners and make it fit in with that fire pit and the vegetation. What is that vegetation?
There's a mix of
Remember?
there's a mix of cedar trees. There's a bunch of tall trees in there. I don't know what, some of them are remaining. They're higher than 20 feet. They've got to be 30 feet or more. There's a dense vegetation along that end.
So that vegetation along that area will be kept. That's fine. Say if you wanted to reduce that pool a little bit around its edges to make it fit in to the area more, that's fine. But otherwise I appreciate it. I understand where the cabana is going and what you're working with the land. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Diane. Abby.
Yeah, good. I just have a small thing, Paul, about the way the stone around the pool is rendered. It looks so big. Do you think next time you could just use a smaller something or other? It looks sort of scary large. Do you know what I mean? It just,
Yeah, they're drawn as 2 by 4.
yeah, that could, yeah, it just looks like, anyway, it does, everything looks so big right around the pool, and it makes me want to shave off some of the pool. And I'm not sure because of the graphic, it's just like coming across as very large. And I'm wondering if it was half that scale, if I would be having the same effect. So I'm just saying that for your benefit. But yeah, I mean, I would, viewing it now, I would like to see that pool smaller. And I don't really understand why there are like 2 parts to it with stairs or something.
Mr. Chair,
So
do you mind
Abby,
if I-
that's called a sun shelf. It's like
Yeah.
the narrow part is really shallow. It's like 6 inches deep. So you just stick your lawn chair in there.
Yeah.
And then there's steps down to the deeper part. That's
Yeah.
all underwater.
Yeah. Do you mind if I respond to just a couple things? I'm not
Well,
a
I'll just
defensive
tell you,
response.
I'm going to tell you my view is that none of this is visible. So I'm fine with it the way it is. So go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, excuse me, the application showed 18 by 40. I think if our overall was 18 by 36, that would be fine. And I think it would also be fine, like if we rounded, we could round the patio corner in the upper left. Rounding, of course, the pool edges. I'm not sure if that's what Diane meant, but then that means you can't really use an auto cover and then you end up with fences.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I just meant the tiles.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
so I would be happy to do 2 by 2 pavers, reduce the pool to 18 by 36 and round the corners on the pool surround would be, I would be happy to do that.
Upper left-hand corner, which I guess is the northwest corner, Joe?
That's right.
Okay. Does somebody want to make a motion on this? I think Joe's willing to make those concessions.
I'll make that motion that Joe just said.
Okay, so the motion, just to reiterate, is to round the northwest corner of the terrace and to reduce the length of the pool from 40 feet as on the application to 36 feet.
Hey guys, it's NCTV just jumping in.
Yeah,
We
I
got
know,
about 5 minutes left. We
Okay,
got another
we're
meeting.
wrapping it.
starting.
I appreciate
That's
that.
my motion.
We're on a vote right now. Okay, so on that motion, Carrie,
Aye.
thank you. John,
Aye.
very good. Thank you. Diane,
Aye.
hey, great, thanks. And Abby?
Aye.
And I'm in favor, that motion carries. Okay, so we covered Joe. We
Thank you.
clearly are not going to get to anything else. Thanks, everybody. Is there anything that we need to do, Kathy, before we adjourn this one?
No,
Okay, everything else gets carried over to, I guess, next Monday or Tuesday, whatever it is, right?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you.
That was Carrie, right? Made the motion?
Yep.
Okay, so on that motion to adjourn, John,
Yeah, I had a quick comment. I tried to get it in.
got to be really quick, John.
God bless our veterans. Yes, I'm in favor of this.
Okay, thank you. And that's a great comment. I really appreciate it. Abby,
Aye.
thank you. Stephen?
I on the motion and the comment.
Okay, thanks. And Diane? Diane, are you still with us?
Aye.
Okay, and I'm in favor of the motion. So we are officially adjourned. Thank you, everyone. See you next Tuesday.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.